All right, welcome back to Scene. As you can probably already tell, a little bit different this week. It's just me, a solo pod. So very excited, very scary. I've never done this before, so hopefully it's the start of something. I feel like could be some good little segments here that could carry on into the future. So we'll just see how we go. But I've been wanting to test this format anyway, so it'd be good to give you a quick pulse check on what's actually happening in social right now and not the polished version that you usually hear. So let's just get into it. Hey, a few signals I'm seeing across platforms right now. On LinkedIn, the classic formatted value post is getting saturated. So I'm sick of seeing all these templates on LinkedIn where it just feels cookie cutter. Like, even if the information's amazing, my brain is just telling me that no real time, thought, and energy has gone into this. It feels very AI, and I don't know, I just find a hard time getting around that sort of stuff. So I feel like a lot of other people are feeling the same. So a little bit to work on there if you're doing that and using AI for that purpose. Yeah, something to think about. And yeah, I think it still gets some reach, but less depth. So you're probably not getting as many meaningful comments when you're doing stuff like that. So you just got to think about that and keep that top of mind, which means like the platform is maturing. People aren't impressed by structure, you know. They want original thinking. They want the reality, not the presentation, you know, or the performance. So I don't know. You can always feel when you're reading something you've seen before. It's not bad content. It's just not memorable. So if it looks like a template, people scroll it like one. So yeah, it's something to think about on LinkedIn. On Instagram, private sharing behavior is dominating. So people are curating what they send, not what they like. So I don't know. I think it leans into social, you know, people being social, sending stuff. So static posts are quietly coming back again if they're relatable or sendable. So remember back in the day when IG first came out, it was just like that one photo and that was kind of it. Like, it's kind of going back to those roots. So if you can sort of start thinking about that and those types of things, I think there could be a good advantage there. So like, I don't know, people want real public engagement, not like performance. So I think the algorithm is rewarding intent, not passive interaction, you know? So think about how you use Instagram. You don't like everything, but you send stuff all the time, you know? So that behavior is what's driving distribution right now. So I would say likes are for the ego and shares are for reach. With TikTok, clear direct hooks are outperforming vague curiosity hooks. So just tell me what it is. I don't really want to wait for some payoff. I feel like I'm a little bit annoyed with those things now. So I'm finding like the direct clear hooks, yeah, are really outperforming those ones. So search is obviously becoming a bigger part of discovery again, and people are less patient with storytelling for the sake of it now. So get to the point, you know. I think the platform's becoming more intent driven. So if people don't understand quickly, they just bounce. You're competing with infinite content now, so no one's waiting around. So stuff to think about. I'd say like clarity beats cleverness right now. So if you don't know what it is in 2 seconds, I'm gone. I'm sorry. If I was running socials this week, this is what I'd lean into more. Comment-led content. So something that the guests have said on the podcast a lot is your best ideas are already in the comments. So people are literally telling you what resonates. So think about that and, you know, think about your strategy when it comes to things like that. So instead of guessing what to post next, just look at what people reacted to. I think operators on camera, people trust people, not logos. So it feels less filtered. It feels more real. The person behind the work is often more interesting than the brand itself. So get those people on camera, especially if they're naturally good at it and they want to do it, like, do that. I think in progress thinking is another one to really think about. Excuse the pun. Is that even a pun? I don't know. I don't think everything needs to be a finished idea. I think people want to be taken on the journey. Like, tell me how you're going. And I know that opens up a bit of vulnerability, but I think that's where you can get your best wins or biggest wins. So I think audiences like seeing how you think, not just what you publish. And I don't think you always need the answer. You just need a perspective. So I don't know, just something to think about, as I said. And I think like slightly uncomfortable takes. So I think safe is invisible, and I think tension is attention, you know? So most brands are so scared of being wrong, they become invisible. I think it's worth coming up with a strong point of view. I think the ones, the posts that you do where it feels a little bit risky, where your heart just starts to, you know, beat a bit faster. I think those types of ones, well, that's the feeling that you should kind of feel when you're thinking about this. I think what's overplayed, like on the flip side, what's kind of being overcooked. I think obviously the overpolished content, it just reeks of too many layers of approvals, and it ends up saying nothing new. So I don't know, you can feel when content's being worked on too much. I think trend chasing, like doing trends without context, obviously, audiences can just smell it. And just because something works doesn't mean it works for you. Empty education. So I've been guilty of this too. And this is something that I've learned. It's like the 5 tips content with no real insight. It looks useful, but it isn't that memorable. Like you read it, nod, and forget it instantly. I think more thought and intention needs to come from that. And I think posting more, like volume used as a strategy, it doesn't fix weak thinking, you know? Like I just think more content just doesn't fix that average content. So sometimes it's best just to pull back, you know. Definitely learnt that lesson a lot of times. And the game has changed. I think when socials first come about, I think the more you posted, the more attention that you got, the better results. And I think now it's just obviously shifted. So you need to start thinking a little bit differently. And yeah, I've got a new segment that I want to get into now, and it's called Worth Clocking. So it's kind of like 3 random facts or 3 different random things that you should be thinking about or might not know. So one thing is dark social. So a huge chunk of content distribution happens in DMs, Slack, WhatsApp, and that's where you don't see the analytics. So someone sending your post privately is way more valuable than a like. And it's hard to measure, you know, like what are the metrics around that? You kind of just have to have that feeling. So your best performing content is probably invisible to you right now. So don't beat yourself up too much. I think another good one is audience training. Like your content history shapes your future reach. So you attract what you repeatedly post. If you've been safe, you'll keep getting safe engagement. You're not just training the algorithm, you're training your audience. So I would really dissect the last few posts that you've done and just do a bit of a deep dive on how you actually want to train your audience and not the algorithm. And I think another big thing to think about is time window. So some content compounds over multiple days, especially on LinkedIn. You see posts just pop off 2 to 3 weeks later because people are engaging in the comments. And like I know personally, I go back to those posts that people engage on because I want to see their points of view. I want to hear what they're saying about a certain topic or issue. So there's people who can facilitate that environment, you know, where people can engage, I think really win, especially on LinkedIn. So early performance isn't always final performance. So I would say some posts need time to find the right audience, and calling something mid too early kills it, you know? So just something to think about. And I suppose my final thought, most people aren't struggling with content. They're struggling to have an opinion. So I think it's safer to repeat than to risk being wrong. And that's why everything looks the same, to be honest. Most brands aren't bad. They're just forgettable. No edge, no tension, no reason to care. And that's about it, honestly. Hope you've enjoyed and learned something. If not, sorry for wasting your time, but leave us a review, a like, a share, a subscription. Obviously, this podcast is brought to you by Sked Social. It's where I work. It's a great place. We've got a great team. And to stay up to date with everything as well, make sure you check out the Scene Report with Gabby, who's our head of growth, doing some amazing things. So, yeah, let us know if you like this episode and if you're keen to hear more.